Younger Brian was a junkie for quite literally anything, but especially games. Younger Brian's perfect daily routine was to wake up at 10 a.m, play games until 2 a.m, only stopping to have a shit or eat some food. My parents split up when I was quite young, about 7 years old, and I could only see my dad about every 6 weeks when the school holidays happened. And let me tell you, as a 12-year-old, that was my favorite time. Because instead of spending time with my dad, if my dad didn't stop me, I would literally sit in the other room and do that schedule that I described. Wake up at 10 a.m, didn't even brush my teeth, and I immediately fired up my game. And then I would play continuously until 2 a.m, only stopping when my dad came into my room to give me food or to watch porn. Because yes, I had a porn addiction at 12 years old. The internet really is a blessing and a curse, because it allows you to do things like this, make money online and live wherever you want. But it's also a curse, because it's so much easier to fall into a distracted life, develop a porn addiction, or fuck up your mental health with social media. I'm making this video to help you break free from your addictions, because if an addiction exists, besides hard drugs, I've probably had it. And I'm happy to say that now I've broken free from all of that. And because of that, I finally stopped getting in my way and built the life I've always wanted. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me when I was addicted, and I'm sure your situation is very similar to mine. There's this constant negative feeling in your life, like this doom and gloom. Every time you do the thing, you probably say that's the last time. But then a day passes and the craving gets stronger and stronger, and you can't stop thinking about it. And then when it comes down to it, you end up convincing yourself that doing it just one more time is the right thing to do, when it's not. And you go through this loop constantly. I know that when I was addicted to porn, I literally felt like there was no hope for me, because I had literally gone through and tried so many times to quit, and I kept coming back to that loop, telling myself I'd quit. Then 3 days would pass and I just wasn't able to fucking control myself. It was such a big source of shame in my life, and I really wish I could have learned what I'm about to tell you in this video sooner, because it would have let me quit a whole lot easier. If you currently have this really negative attitude towards your addiction, the first thing you have to do is read the book Easy Way by Alan Carr. And if porn is what you're addicted to, there's actually an adapted version called the Easy Peasy Method. Just search that on Google and you'll find it. Whilst there's only those two versions, the first one is to quit smoking and the second one is for porn, read it no matter what your addiction is, because what it talks about applies to pretty much any addiction. And what this book says is that after you read it, you'll be able to immediately quit in a really painless and fun way. And I don't think that's quite the case, at least it wasn't the case for me, but what it did do is completely change my attitude. After reading that book, I went from no hope, lost, feeling so much shame, to finally having some form of hope again. After reading it, you will actually feel like you can quit. If you're trying to quit something you're addicted to, you've probably noticed that when it comes to that time when you're supposed to do the thing, when you normally do it, but you decide not to, it's almost like an empty feeling in your head, like something's missing. And by doing the thing you're addicted to, you're relieving that feeling. But what a big mindset shift for me was, what the Easy Way teaches is that that feeling isn't relieved by the addiction, it's caused by the addiction in the first place. And if you keep relapsing and relapsing and doing the thing again, that empty feeling only gets worse. It never gets better. It's only temporary. For the next 24 hours, you might feel okay, but that feeling will come back, unless you break the chain. When I had my porn addiction, I literally thought I was in so deep that it was basically impossible for me to quit. And it completely changed my perspective, so give it a read. I highly recommend it, even if you're not that addicted to the thing and you still have some form of hope. If you have that, if you're not that addicted yet, honestly, that book will probably make you quit instantly. The second thing you have to do is figure out why you actually have the addiction in the first place. An addiction is usually a real-world desire manifested into the addiction. I had a gaming addiction from the age of 4 to the age of 18. Every waking hour was spent thinking about the game I was playing at the time, and my entire life revolved around going back to my computer and being able to play that game. It was only after I decided to journal and actually write my thoughts down that I figured out why I actually had that gaming addiction in the first place. Every game I used to play used to invoke this similar feeling in my head, a feeling of scale, of being part of something big. And the most fun I ever had in those games is by being part of a large group with a leader and being part of a movement, really making a difference in that game's universe. And that's what I was chasing this whole time, and that's why I started this channel. And I'm finally getting that feeling from real life, so now I know that I will never need games anymore. So journal about it and really think about it. Maybe the thing you're addicted to is some real world desire that you have that you don't even know you have. And the third thing is to change your environment or make some form of grand gesture. The addiction that you have is a result of your current environment, your current routine, and your situation. I mean, think about it. If you're currently addicted to something, say it's porn, you probably use porn at very specific times of the day. And you might even be doing it in the same exact place every time. So if you suddenly decide you want to quit, you have this grand epiphany, and the next time you're in that same exact situation where you usually do it, the pull is going to be massive. Because for years you've done the same thing in the same exact situation at the same time, and all of a sudden you want to break that completely. It doesn't really work like that. It's going to be so hard to quit that way. Changing my environment has been the only thing that's allowed me to completely quit things. I used to be addicted to biting my nails from the age of 4 until the age of 20. I tried to stop so many times, but nothing worked. And the thing that finally got me to stop was starting my first ever 9-to-5 job. I finally thought of myself as an adult, and adults don't bite their nails. And to top it off, I was embarrassed. I remember whenever I used to have my hands like that on a keyboard, if someone would walk past, I'd do this with my fingers so that they couldn't see my nails because they looked so bad. Getting that 9-to-5 job changed my identity. It changed the image of myself in my head. I wasn't that person anymore. I'm an adult now. I don't bite my fucking nails anymore. The reason this works is because, as I said, you have these systems and your brain follows the path of least resistance. If you don't change something in your life that breaks that circuit that you usually have when doing the addiction, you're gonna get your cravings all the time, just like you used to, and it's gonna be so hard to quit. Every time you get a craving, your willpower will go down, and eventually your willpower will reach 0. And when it reaches 0, guess what? You're gonna touch your pee-pee again. So stop making it difficult for yourself. Change your environment. Break that circuit that's making you get the cravings. Because the cravings are what's causing you to do it in the first place. If you can't change your environment, if you can't move house currently, do some sort of grand gesture. I don't know too much about why this works, but making a grand gesture just changes something in your head and makes it seem more real. Take this as an example. If you're addicted to alcohol and one day you decide to quit, if you got a tattoo that symbolizes that, and you knew that when you got that tattoo, that's when you quit alcohol, and that tattoo to you meant that you're never going to drink again. Every time you look at that tattoo, you're going to be proud of yourself, and that tattoo is going to stop you. When you get those cravings, you're going to look at it and you're not going to want to do it anymore. Obviously, I'm not telling you to get a tattoo, but hopefully now you understand what a grand gesture is. So change your environment, break those circuits. If you can't, figure out the system that's causing the addiction and try to break it at some point in the chain. And if you still can't do that, then make some sort of grand gesture. Admit to your family that you've got an addiction and that from this day you're going to quit. The bottom line is, our brains always follow the path of least resistance. That's why a morning routine makes you so much more productive. And that's why you need to make your addiction easy for you to quit. Because if you make it hard for yourself, if you just say you're going to quit and do nothing, it's going to be hard and you're not going to be able to stick to it. Right now, the bad thing is the easiest thing for you to do in that situation, which is why you can't stop doing it. I know what it's like, bro. I know what it's like to be so fucking ashamed of yourself every time you do something, but you just can't fucking stop. You know that stopping is going to make your life so much better, but for some reason, something kicks in and you just keep doing it. Every time you do it, you promise yourself it's the last time, and every time you repeat the thing again, you feel so much shame. But it's okay, there's hope. Even if you feel like there's no hope for you, try the steps in this video. I was so fucking addicted to porn that I thought I was trapped, and I still managed to quit. Some addictions take years to break, but if you're making progress, you are on the right path, and know that one day you will be free from it. You're already making progress. You know you have a problem and you're seeking solutions to it because you're watching this video. Remember, once you quit, that craving, that bad feeling from not doing the thing, that goes away because that's caused by the addiction. Think about it. Heroin addicts really want heroin, but you've most likely never tried heroin, so you don't really think about it. And that same thing will happen with whatever you're currently addicted to. There will be a day, and it might seem really far away, but it's not. There will be a day where you just don't think about it anymore. And I want that for you. I can't wait for that day. When that day comes, you will be so proud of yourself. If you're watching this, you're not like everyone else. Most of the population has addictions that are holding them back, and they don't even realize it. There's people out there that are still convinced that porn is good for you. And sometimes those people are people with influence, and they're leading so many people into a life of pain. They're fucking evil. But thankfully, you're not one of those people because you are here. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Brian, and this is not a YouTube channel. We are all grabbing life by the balls here. We are all sick of an ordinary life, and we want to create something better for ourselves. So, if you resonate with this message, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, bro.